Welcome back to Behind the Breeze. I am here with our sports editor for print, Preston Comer, and our sports director for TV, Ethan Dufresne. Do you guys want to introduce a little bit about what you do for the Breeze?
Yeah, so for me on print side, I just manage the staff of sports writers, design the print pages for the sports section every week, make sure all of our stories are getting in the paper that week. During the fall, covering football, that is a lot of my job during the fall semester, covering games, going to press conferences, practices, stuff like that. That's most of my job, just managing the sports staff.
Yeah, I mean, I basically do the same thing that Preston does, but just from like a television standpoint. I focus mainly on football in the fall as well, kind of bounce around a little bit in the spring semester, post-football season. We broadcast the sports desk. Typically, it's the second desk of the show, Fridays at 3:30, managing my reporters, assigning games out, making sure graphics and the teleprompter's all set up the day of, making sure all of our submissions are in, teaching my reporters like the editing software and things like that. There's not much else to it.
Yeah. So admittedly, I know very little about sports, but I do know that the Super Bowl is coming up, which is why you guys are here today. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on currently in sports, if you guys want to talk a little bit about that.
Well, can I reverse it on to you? Do you know who's playing in the Super Bowl?
I know that we just said the Seahawks.
Okay.
And I'm going to take a wild guess because I have heard a little bit. Is it the Patriots?
It is the Patriots.
Yeah, good
New
job.
England. Good job,
Okay,
Maddie.
so I did know this. Yeah. But I did also hear that this is like one of the first year the Chiefs aren't playing.
It's the first time in the last 3 years. 3 years, I think, that they haven't been in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I know that that's important because
they were in it for 3 years in a row. Yes,
Years in a row.
They made it the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They lost last year, won the 2 years prior. This is a rematch of, is it 2015?
2014, 2015. Well, I guess it depends. I always get this mixed up because it always depends on like the season starts
it carries
1 year.
over into the new year.
Yeah. So I guess it was 2015 technically. I always think 2015 it was like Super Bowl 50, like Broncos Panthers, but it was the year prior to that. So I guess it technically would have been 2015 because that Super Bowl was in 2016. Yeah.
This is a Super Bowl rematch.
Wow, yeah.
The Seahawks and Patriots played. I guess we'll just say 2015.
okay. I'll put like a little thing in if they're wrong.
Yeah. Thank you for correcting
Yeah,
us.
you're welcome.
But dude, remember how that game ended?
Yeah. No, it was
What happened?
crazy.
Oh my gosh. So the Seahawks had like the best running back in the NFL at the time, Marshawn Lynch.
Okay.
His nickname was Beast Mode because he ran through people. Like he's a
Okay.
big guy. He just bounced off people. They got the ball down to, was it the 1 or 2 yard line?
I think it was the one.
The 1 yard line, and they needed a touchdown to win the game. End of regulation, into the fourth quarter. Instead of just handing the ball off to this giant running back who probably would have gotten in from a yard away, Russell Wilson, their quarterback, threw the ball, and Patriots corner Malcolm Butler picked it off, and the Patriots won. People dissed the Seahawks hard after that, man.
horrible.
They still get some crap for it.
They've been getting a lot of crap now that the rematch is happening. People are like, why didn't you run the ball? Why didn't you run the ball?
So by the time that this airs, we will know who won this rematch.
Yeah.
But do you guys have like your suspicions, or do you have a team that you would rather win?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like it's going to be a heyday for that Seattle defense. Like, I mean, statistically across the board, Seattle's been good on defense all year, and there's a lot of concern from New England standpoint about their strength of schedule. So the way that the NFL schedule like kind of works, from what my understanding is and picking up like patterns after watching for the last couple years, is that it's kind of based on your record from the year before. So like you pick there's two certain divisions that everybody in your division like plays. But it's also based on like, I think how it's like how you placed in the division last year. New England was 4-13 last year. Got a coaching change, picked up a couple pieces, obviously had a great year. But when you look at that, since they were like near the bottom of their division, they were playing a lot of other teams that were in their bottom of the division, and typically they were still pretty bad. So a lot of people like, I mean, they beat my Browns. They put up 45 on us, I think. But it's just like the strength of schedule, and there's a lot of things like a lot of these I saw a graphic the other day on like Instagram or something like that like all the teams that they played like fired their head coach, or like most of them like were either had a rookie head coach playing against. Like obviously they had to play Aaron Glenn in the Jets twice. But there was a lot of teams that they played that ended up like firing their head coach. Like Cleveland, I'm pretty sure they played Atlanta. I'm drawing a blank, but it was like a lot of teams that like had struggles that felt like they needed to move on from their head coach they played against. So it's like a lot of people are like, are they really facing like good quality teams? And then like their path through the playoffs too was like pretty straightforward. They beat a Broncos team who lost Bo Nix in the divisional round against Buffalo to a broken ankle off a backup quarterback, Jarrett Stidham, who's only started like 3 games in the NFL. So there's a lot of concern about the strength of how New England got here and the path to the Super Bowl. And Seattle's just been consistent all year long, beating great teams. I really don't see New England winning this game whatsoever.
Okay, so to dumb this down for someone like me, what I just got from that was Seattle played super easy games against like super confused teams, and now they're there, and you just think like, oh, they just had it easy scheduling wise.
New England did, yeah.
Oh, New England
Seattle,
did.
yeah. Seattle played
Okay,
great teams.
Seattle's the good team.
Yes.
You don't see the Patriots win. Hold on.
No, we don't see.
You don't see the Patriots winning because they had easy run to get to this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I got that.
You did?
Yeah, I did. I think
I probably over-explained a little bit. I feel bad.
No. I'm glad you did. I mean, I am like here to absorb as much sports knowledge as possible. Like you guys are here to give me a whole crash course because I know nothing, so that I can go to my Super Bowl party and I can be like, you know what Ethan and Preston told me, and just completely amaze everyone.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you think we're that smart.
Yeah, of course. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's hard to disagree with like Ethan's argument. Like the Patriots didn't have a hard schedule, but they did play very well against their schedule. You can't completely control your schedule. It's not like college football where you're building it. They played really well against the teams that they had to play. Now Seattle's defense is awesome, and they are in probably the best division in football, at least this season, and they did really well in that division. They had a bit of a tougher path to the Super Bowl than the Patriots did in terms of playoff games, but it's hard to knock on the Patriots offense and Drake May. Have you ever heard of Drake May?
Who is that?
He's the Patriots quarterback. He went to UNC. You haven't seen like the stuff, like his wife is like pretty famous on TikTok because she makes a bunch of TikToks.
Okay.
It's been like all over my Instagram. It's
Refresh
like all
my
it
memory.
is.
Like, what is
She
What's
made
her name?
Her name's Ann Michael May.
Okay.
Basically, she did this thing called Bakemas.
Okay.
Where like every day of December up until Christmas, she like made a new like baked good. It's like one of her like main hobbies or whatever.
Okay, maybe.
And then it's like people just started like people loved Drake May. There's like a whole Drake May fan base on social media.
He's, like,
but then when she started doing this, people started like follow her as well. So now they're just like a power couple. They're like middle school sweethearts, I'm pretty sure too.
Dude, yeah,
adorable.
they've been together since like 7th grade, I think.
Yeah.
They went to middle school together in North Carolina. But like, yeah, I feel like, I don't know, at least I thought he was like one of those players that was turning into somebody that like even non-sports fans know, just because his wife has become so famous too. And he's just, he's great. He's an awesome quarterback, but just like him as a person has become kind of a joke.
Okay.
Like people support him as a joke.
Like a little bit of a meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is really good though. And he
Okay.
had an amazing season, and it's only his second year. I think he could make this a close game for New England, but it's hard to just root against that Seattle defense.
Okay. I'm learning. So we
You're
have
learning.
one person who's a meme on the Patriots team.
That's one way to put it.
And the fact that you don't think the Seahawks played too bad for the schedule that they wait.
played great against their schedule.
Okay.
They played a tough schedule too. They're in a really good division. Two other teams in their division made the playoffs. So
Okay. And how does that different from, so you mentioned a little bit about how in college football you like make your own schedule.
yeah.
What is that?
So kind of how Ethan was explaining like the NFL schedule.
Yeah.
The NFL is putting that schedule together for you based on how you performed the year before.
Okay.
And like they're already predetermined like other divisions that everybody that in your own division is going to have to play. So you really don't have much control over who you're playing the next year. In college, outside of your conference, you are you're going to have to go out and schedule games against non-conference teams. So you have to reach negotiations. There are contracts involved. Figuring out if this is going to be a one-time thing or if it's going to be a long-term contract that we're going to play every other year and we'll swap who the home team is every year. So in college, where you have control over who you're playing outside of your conference, the NFL, it's kind of just up to luck of the draw.
This college playoffs were also kind of in the media a lot because it was like a bunch of different teams who haven't necessarily been there before.
Yeah, I mean, there are going to be a lot of new teams now that haven't made it before just because they expanded from 4 teams to 12 teams. And there are going to be a lot of teams that are going to make it for the first time because there are going to be group of 5 teams like JMU that are going to be getting in every year. I think it's great that they expanded it. I think I'm a little iffy on the new rule that like Power 4 conferences, their champion is automatically going to make it. Like that means Duke would have made it this year. I don't completely agree with that. I don't agree with a lot of the things the ACC does though. I think it's good for college football. I think it needs some fine tuning. I think it's awesome to have more teams in the playoffs. I think a lot of people were worried about it last year because they brought all these new teams into the playoffs and it was just the best teams at the end. This year we had 2, I guess, Cinderella teams like you would see in March Madness, like underdogs. Ole Miss and Miami played each other for a spot in the national championship. I think it's moving in the right direction. I like it as a fan when I'm watching college football, but I do think it needs some tweaking.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been fantastic. I remember my dad went to Ohio State, so I like grew up watching like college football. That's partially the reason I got into sports. And I remember the first football game I ever like sat down and watched was that original 4-seeded college football playoff method when Ohio State was taking on Alabama with Cardell Jones and Ezekiel Elliott. And like that was cool in itself. But like now, once they expanded it last year, 2 years ago to 12, just watching these like lower seeded teams like make it, because last season it was Notre Dame and Ohio State. Ohio State was like the 7 or 8 seed, and I'm pretty sure Notre Dame was the 10. So it's like it's cool to like kind of see like Preston said, these Cinderella stories come up, even though a lot of people don't consider like Ohio State really a Cinderella story. But like it makes the regular season games like losses mean less, which I feel like is debatable whether or not that should be the case. But yeah, I've really started to enjoy it. I think they're looking to even expand it to like 16 or 24.
So it went from 4 to 12 this year, is what you're telling me.
Last year was the first year with the 12 team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something happened with JMU and Duke.
Yes.
Can you explain that? Because I don't know.
So, oh my God.
Buckle up.
I'm buckled.
Are you ready?
I'm buckled.
Okay.
I'm sad.
So,
I'm sad.
it went back to, what was the missed field goal? Was that Cal and
was it Virginia?
No, it was not. Was it?
We were in, I think we were in Coastal when this happened.
It did.
Cal and SMU.
SMU, yeah.
Yeah.
So SMU's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
SMU was in the running for the ACC. Cal beat them because I think SMU missed a field goal to send it to overtime.
Yeah.
I hope I'm correct on that. We were in Coastal Carolina when this was happening, so it was all kind of a blur.
I'll put like a thing.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay,
Put a
yeah.
disclaimer.
I'll put a disclaimer in the
I
caption.
promise I know what I'm talking about. Just sometimes
you.
I forget.
No, I trust you. This is a high pressure environment. You're under a lot of stress here.
So, oh my gosh, so much happened.
Okay.
Because of that, Duke ended up in the conference championship against UVA.
Okay.
Now, if UVA had won that game, they probably would have been in the playoffs because they would have been, what was it? Because they just changed it now, but they would have been, how'd they word it? One of the 5 highest ranked conference champions.
Yeah, because they were ranked, I think at that point in time, higher by like 5 or 6 spots than JMU was. This was like, I don't even think JMU was in the college football playoff ranking at that point.
I think they might have been in at 25, but they still had 2 other group of 5 teams in front of them. I can't remember. This was I don't.
Tulane was definitely in front of them.
Yeah, but Duke. If Duke had won that, Duke would not have been. Duke was not ranked, so Duke would not have been one of the 5 highest ranked conference champions.
Okay.
It's the 5 highest ranked conference champions, and then the rest are just the next highest ranked teams.
Yeah, they're just like
Yeah.
at large.
Yeah. So
At large.
at large, yeah, it's an at large.
That's
bid.
the term.
Yeah,
that's
that's
the term they
hilarious.
use.
At large bid.
That is hilarious.
So Duke wins, but Duke is not one of the 5 highest ranked teams, or so it doesn't matter that they're a conference champion. JMU was the 5th highest ranked conference champion because they won the Sun Belt and they were ranked.
Oh, okay.
So JMU was put in instead of Duke.
Instead of Duke. That's crazy. What do you guys think makes reporting on sports different from reporting on news?
It's sports. It's so fun. I get to go to football games
Yeah.
and I get to report on them and I get to write about football and I get to interview coaches and players. It's so much fun. Like, it's sports. That's what I tell everybody. Like, it's just fun. It's the most amazing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, all respect to like all of our reporters at Breeze TV are absolutely amazing, but like, I don't think, there's obviously certain circumstances, but like, there's always like something exciting going on in sports. There's always, the reason why I love it is because there's always going to be something like crappy going on in the world, and there's like always going to be something that like brings morale down. Like finding a way to like, there's always something going on that's like entertaining and fun and just like high spirited, good energy. Like I like reporting on that stuff. I like making people entertained. I like making people happy. I like making people not think about like the crappy things going on in their life.
But outside of just like covering games, one of my favorite things to do is like writing profiles on athletes. I love a comeback story. I love when athletes have to go through an injury and a long rehab process, or they go through something personal. Or I wrote about JMU's punter who moved here all the way from Australia, and when he first got to America and started at Louisiana Tech, like he had no clue what he was doing, never played American football, knew nobody. I love those kind of stories that make athletes, or that show people that athletes are more than just athletes. They are people too. They go through the things that we're going through every day.
Yeah, I would say, Preston's been at this much longer than I have, but I would say from this season, it was definitely with football. And there was something about being under pressure and like the situation that I was in when the news about Bob Chesney going to UCLA dropped like before the Sun Belt Championship game. I was at CVS buying like gift cards for like, we were having a senior send-off that night for my business fraternity, and I was just like buying gifts for a couple of the seniors, and I like look at my phone and I like get the notification that it happened, and I was like immediately texting like my reporters like, oh man, here we go. And then it was like I was texting my producer Lauren and then the news director Alexa like, hey, I'm driving home, like give me 20 minutes, I'll start writing a script for a social recap video. And then it actually ended up being the highest viewed video that I got to post on social. So it was relieving in that sense. Just like, I don't know, the chaos of it all is always sometimes fun too. But if you talk about like a specific moment, one that stood out to me had to have been the Sun Belt Championship game. Getting on that field with all those players, all those students from the student section, and all the Duke's alumni have been following this team for decades and decades, rushing the field, like trying to storm the stage with like Wayne Knight and Bob Chesney like hoisting the trophy for the first time ever in the Sun Belt Conference. That was really, really cool. And I got a couple cool clips from the field with that. And I've never seen this university come together as much as they did that day. And it was really, really cool to see, despite the fact that it was snowing and it was really, really cold.
Dude, did you ever hear the behind the scenes of Chesney taking the UCLA job?
No. Are we allowed to?
Oh yeah, we can
Yeah,
talk about it. I
okay.
wrote a story on
I was
it.
like, whoa.
He's already
hello?
over there. It's fine.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I was like,
Yeah, dude, he's already in LA.
Okay.
He's 3 hours behind. He
Yeah.
won't
What's the tea?
So we're in a press conference that day at noon talking to Chesney. He's 8 feet away from me. He finishes his press conference at, I'm trying to remember the exact time. It was like 12:23. He finishes and walks out the door. At 12:24, while waiting for players to come up, I looked down at my phone and Pete Thamel reported that he was taking the UCLA job. I don't think it was supposed to be reported right then and there, but if that press conference had gone on another 30 seconds, or if Chesney had stayed in another like 30 seconds, then that presser would have gone on for probably another like half hour. It was like clockwork. He closes the door to the press conference room and ESPN reports that he's gone. And it's like this year we dealt with a lot of breaking news just because there were a lot of firsts. The playoffs, obviously, the coaching change. There was a decent amount of breaking news this season. I think it just depends. There wasn't anything as crazy last year, but the month of December was unbelievable for working in this role.
Yeah, especially as a student with like finals, because all of this was like the week before finals week.
Yeah, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Brutal. With all of these changes that have happened this year, what are we expecting to see next year?
A lot of differences. No,
well, yes.
I mean it's a completely different team. They brought in 61 new players. They brought in 35 new staff members and coaches. There are almost 100 new people to JMU football. That's a lot of new people. This is going to be a very different team. I do think that with a coach like Billy Napier, some of the staff he's brought on, not just the coaching staff, but also like player personnel, like scouting, stuff like that they'll be completely fine. I see no reason that they won't be contending to win the Sun Belt again next year. I see no reason that they wouldn't be competing to get that group of 5, that last playoff spot again next year. Obviously, it's something you just have to deal with a lot nowadays, that turnover on staff and that turnover with your roster. I think they'll be okay. They've been through it before. Billy Napier coached at Florida. He's been in the Sun Belt and seen success there.
All right, my last question is, how does a sports reporter celebrate the Super Bowl?
I mean, honestly, I think the one thing I'd prioritize is just like good company. Like, honestly, there's nothing like the Super Bowl is like one of those sporting events where like, even if like you have those friends that like just watch it for the commercials, which like I think is insane. Just like it's the one sporting event outside of like obviously like the Olympics and things like that brings like everybody together in some fashion. So it's just like having that moment, especially when I have a lot of roommates who like aren't as like big of sports fans as I am, just having the opportunity to like watch a game with them and just enjoy the time together, that's great. But I mean, I'm actually going to mix like snack wise the two things he said. I think buffalo chicken dip is a must have.
That's a good pull right there.
Yeah, I'm currently trying to work on the menu of what me and my roommates are gonna make, but that's like high on my list. I'm gonna advocate for that one pretty hard.
Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you had a great time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome time.
Yeah, and we're back to our regular schedule with Behind the Breeze, and you can be sure that every other Wednesday we'll have a new episode. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. 2026 is finally starting to feel like a new era for Behind the Breeze. We have a new set, we have new graphics for the LED wall, and we have a new logo, as well as new podcast mics, so that's why your audio probably sounds a little bit better. As always, be sure to follow The Breeze and at JMU Breeze TV on Instagram and Facebook, and tune in weekly every other Wednesday for new episodes of Behind the Breeze. And as always, thanks for watching.